I might have started a baby diaspora war.
I thought I would never say this on TikTok, but it gotta be said. Black British people are the best example of if the brainwashing of America worked at like 95 percentile. Basically what I'm saying is, imagine if they never needed COINTELPRO because there was never a MLK, there was never a Malcolm X, there was never any level of deep, genuine resistance to the oppressive systems in America. Black Brits automatically associate themselves with their origin, ethnic group countries, and they ignore so much of what's going on in their own country. They still are very much for the monarchy. They love white women, love white men. Like, it's like the brainwashing work. That's why they judge us so hard for going against it. That's it.
Currently, as it stands, I have a post on TikTok that is over 250,000 in plays and views. And it's all based on, how I felt about Black Brits. I didn't know that I was going to start some type of, situation. But it's pretty interesting, the things that I've learned. And it's already became one of my most watched videos on TikTok. Thanks for the follows. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. I believe now I qualify for like the TikTok shop, so that might be cool. You might see a little bit of UGC me back into the game just to get some of this bread, because you know how the world is. And I have to talk about this video and all that I've gleaned from this particular video that is now, like I said, my most watched video on TikTok. So first, I believe Keith Lee's overall food tour in London is what kind of gave me a spike, which is funny because I think I got another spike before from another comment that I had when he was in Atlanta. Anywho, nevertheless, here we are yet again, talking about food, talking about culture, and I felt somewhat provoked when I seen this video by a creator by the name of Adiv. I believe it's Adiv. I think that's how it's Adiv. But let me play you that video.
When I came on here last week and said that Black British people are obsessed with Black Americans, and they come online unsolicited every week, provoking Black Americans for no reason and saying the most outlandish, crazy shit, y'all told me, you lot over there crazy, no one's coming for Americans, yeah, no one cares about America. Explain this.
I'm an African American. I'm the only person in the world who's had issues or who's faced discrimination. No, you're not. American Black people are not the only people who've gone through hardship in this world. It's your great granddad or your granddad was a slave. Fair enough, innit? But hey, look at Congo. That is a clear example. It doesn't have to be slavery in your face for it to still be slavery in your face. Do you know, an African American, all these people are stealing our culture? It's not really you because of the country where you're from. You're not the only Black people who have to navigate being a minority in another part of the world. So, relax.
So because of that, I had to comment this. And with this comment, I sat there and I thought, like, damn, this is gonna lead me to say something. I'm getting kind of riled up, you know what I'm saying? Which is what led to the overall video. And a lot of the immediate reactions to that post looked something like these. Boop, 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 right? There were thousands more just like this. And so many accounts that I feel like, where I believe were African Americans. And I almost felt bad a little bit. Like I truly might have felt like I really did just cause a whole stir up online. Was this my intention for real, And then I thought, what is it that's really grinding my gears about this overall rhetoric that comes from certain Black British citizens, if you will, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's unity. Unity. Why are we not unified as a Black people? And I know that, for a lot of people, when they hear Black, they see, there's a lot of different arguments that they're not Black, they're African, they're not Black, they're Jamaican, and all these different things. And I believe that that's a level of nuance that's not really needed for this particular conversation. We all are Black collectively because of this oppressive system we currently live under globally. Kind of can't change that. If I was to go to a certain type of country, they're going to assume that I am what I am. If I was to go to London and walk down the streets of London, until I start speaking, no one's going to assume that I'm not either, from the islands or from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Especially with my overall aesthetic. They probably gonna think that I'm, probably maybe got a white mom, I don't know, because there's a lot of very, very black people in Britain, right? But I always thought it was an interesting thing that, yes, we're not a monolith and all those things, but I always thought it was crazy that you have so many people from a small island being able to influence on a country that's 3, 4, 5 times the size, like a Nigeria, where thousands of people are still moving there on a day-to-day basis. How are they able to influence them to that degree? Colonialism, as we know. And I can admit, I was being hyperbolic with my overall take. But I feel like I see more complaining to African Americans about what we do and how we show up, and instead of it being some real genuine sense of cultural exchange. And I feel like I don't get it because y'all love us. Y'all love the R&B music that we create. Y'all love hip hop, black fashion, the films. A lot of hometowners of the Isles of Britain, of the United Kingdom, are superstars over here. They become household names. But I feel like there's so many things that are parallel in terms of our history. You would just think, right? We should be more like cousins. And I don't understand why that's not a thing. But that brings me to the overall history of it all, because I'm like, let me do a little bit of digging. I don't think that the average American knows the Black history of the United Kingdom, let alone any other particular history across the world, to be quite honest. Because I feel like we're stifled so much on just on history, Black history and African history and various different Black people. Like, I don't know what the Black people of, Amsterdam are like. I don't know where they came from, when did they migrate there, were they always there? None of those things. We don't get those things. And I feel like we should have more of an exchange of understanding that about each other, because I feel like in America, we do have a Black History Month. We do have all these things where we propel and we create from those spaces so that the world kind of knows our MLKs. They know our Malcolm X's. They know our freedom fighters. And they know that we for damn sure ain't really standing on no weak shit ever. You know what I'm saying? So it's really interesting that we are where we are. But I did a little bit of digging, and this is what I came up with. A lot of things that came up in my comments were things about the Windrush generation. Also, some of the reasons as to why the Notting Hill Carnival, is something that still is prevalent to this day, an important celebration within that region of London. But also names such as Claudia Jones and Debbie Abbott and Harold Moody, Althea Jones LaQuaint, and as well as contemporary activists such as Akala, who I've definitely heard of, are some of those names that came up as truly figures that have always fought for the liberation of Black immigrants, Black people, Black descendants of British transatlantic slavery, so on and so forth. But there still were some interesting things that people fought against me saying comments like this. And I'm just like, that's odd. Because what did those people really have to fight for? And did they just go ahead and get it all out the blue, nip everything in the bud? It was people like Harold Moody and Althea just doing their thing and it wiped out all racism and oppression in Britain? Of course they didn't. Of course it's so much more. Of course it's a thing. And I found some examples. So with a little bit of Google, this is what I came up with. Allow me to read. So a significant number of Black Britons encounter racism in a professional settings. A comprehensive survey revealed that only 9% of respondents had little to no experience of wrong place discrimination, indicating widespread issues of both overt and institutional prejudice, according to University of Cambridge. Racial prejudice within the UK's healthcare system remains a pressing concern. Approximately 65% of Black individuals reported experiencing bias from medical professionals, with the figure rising to 75% among those aged 18 to 34. Such discrimination can deter individuals from seeking necessary medical care, adversely affecting health outcomes. And that's reported by the BMJ. The largest survey of Black Britons to date found the 90% of young Black people anticipate encountering racial prejudice as they grow older. Additionally, 93% feel unsupported by the government in addressing these challenges, and 87% believe that employers are not doing enough to bridge the employment gap for young Black individuals. And that was reported by ITV News. Then you have policing, because no guns with their police. They must be so much nicer, right? Wrong. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, or the IOPC, has called for urgent measures to address the adultification of children. By law enforcement, the bias leads officers to perceive Black youth as older than they are, resulting in inappropriate and often harsh treatment during stop and search procedures and other interactions. That's according to Reuters. Lastly, Francesca Amin, brace for me. Bear with me. Francesca Amiwoda Rivers, a Black actor cast as Juliet in 2024 production of Romeo and Juliet, faced extensive racial abuse online, including death threats and hate mail. This incident underscores the challenges Black performers encounter in the UK's entertainment industry and highlights the need for a systemic change to ensure a safe and inclusive environment. That's reported by The Guardian. So, Great Britain's racism isn't looking that uncanny from American-based oppressive systemic, norms. So they're just on a smaller scale due to population, obviously. But what I feel like I've learned is that we don't really get that far from fighting. We really don't go anywhere being against each other. We really have to get to the love of what we are and who we can be for each other. And y'all don't really like that bangers and mash shit either. Like, y'all don't really like it. Like, y'all have a cultural foundation. So many of you have a cultural foundation if you happen to have Black skin in Britain, have a cultural foundation that has nothing to do with the Isle of the UK. So you do not have to defend it. And you do not have to put nasty comments under my cousin Keith Lee's page because of this real strange sense of nationalism that you have, when in reality, you built this. They owe you. And once you realize that they owe you, because without the Nigerias, the Jamaicas of the world, would Britain even be where they are today? Without the service and the literal servitude of your ancestors, would they be there today? Would they have been able to amass this amount of wealth to maintain a monarchy well into the 1900s, until they became basically just these figureheads of some sort? Who really cares? Fuck them. Get yours, take over the country the way that you see fit. Get the things that you feel like you need, just like people over here are fighting for, and hopefully we can work together someday. I'm not just calling for like some kumbaya, because, the people who are yapping and trying to be detractors are really just fighting progress and just don't want to accept that. And they just want to be accepted by the power structure. They don't want to accept that they're never going to be just like them. So they would love to just assimilate until their Blackness goes away. Be with white women, have nothing but white friends, and act as if the racism that exists in their country is so much better. And I don't think that that's how any of that really works. But there were Brits that agree with me in my comments. I had comments like this from Buff Gal. As a Brit, I agree. 100 emoji. I'm not like that. And I think that the world could be a different place if we were on the same page. And we can really build and exchange and have a union with each other that is truly a Pan-African based union, where we are spanning and understanding that we are facing some of the same oppressive systems. And also, we all season our food. we do good with that. Let's not, you're never gonna see me defend Skyline chili, green bean casserole, none of that. So I'll conclude and wrap it up with this. From the great American treasure that is Keke Palmer, to sum us all this up in terms of British food and British ways. Hopefully we can come together one day. Peace.
British food is not better than American food. Why'd you sit up there and lie like that? I will say that their national dish being butter chicken is fabulous. I do love a good butter chicken moment. But overall, the British food is no. So sorry. You know, I do love a baked beans moment. I'm not mad, but it's sometimes when I'm eating the food over there, they don't give me the seasoning unless I'm going to a nice little Lebanese spot. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna get into it.